So what we're going to be doing today is installing this solenoid valve, which is the control valve to allow the Accusump to charge and discharge for oil from the engine. And the question is, can the engine oil recharge at will, or does the solenoid valve need to be open? And so here's the side access port for the EPC switch, they call it, EPC valve switch. It's a sensor. So the EPC sensor senses a minimum oil pressure, and when it goes below that, it allows this solenoid valve to open. So if the solenoid valve is always closed, then the Accusump can't recharge. So the question is this a one-way valve or not? Because if it's a one-way valve, then when it's closed, it will still allow the higher oil pressure from the engine to continually recharge the Accusump until it equalizes, and which would also mean that the Accusump should remember the peak oil pressure seen in the engine while you're out on the racetrack, which would be a good thing. So if this is a one-way valve, we should be able to continually accept high pressure, and so that the Accusump maintains the highest pressure, so that if it ever needs to kick on when you have a loss in oil pressure around a corner or under braking or something, it will have the maximum pressure, not just the minimum pressure of whatever EPC valve you use. This is the 68 Firebird. It's going in. First thing we're going to do is screw in this 1/2-inch NPT port to the side that says in. That's the side that connects to the Accusump. Then we'll run a little experiment and test whether or not this is a one-way valve or not. So what we'll do is plug off this sensor port and then connect it to a 12-volt power source, and when it's closed, actually before we even connect it to a 12-volt power source, we should be able to pressurize this side so that that pressure then goes this way, and we should be able to pressurize this side and see that it's closed. And then of course when it opens, it should flow freely both directions. So first thing we want to do is we put our pipe thread, our Teflon tape on our NPT threads, and we started putting them in. Now we're going to tighten it. And the way that we're going to tighten it is we're going to put soft cardboard around this housing so we don't torque on the solenoid valve. And we're going to put that into our vise just very gently, and then torque down a little bit on those threads. So we got it in the vise. We got our 7/8 wrench, and we're going to snug it up a little bit. Gently. It's pretty snug. We already snugged it a little bit before I turned it on. That ought to get us started. Alright, now we're going to install the pipe thread plug, and it comes with this solenoid valve, the electric valve they call it from Accusump, and it already has some thread sealant on it in red there, so we're going to go ahead and screw that in. Yeah, we got it set up in our vise here. We got some cardboard as a cushion protecting it from the rough jaws of the vise. And it looks like this base part has two flats on it that I'm currently connected to in the vise. So that's another option, I guess, for holding it when you need to snug up either this or that. I guess that's why they put it at an angle, so you have enough hold to do either one. I'm just going to snug that up now with our Allen wrench. Okay. Now we're also going to do the same for our 1/2-inch NPT to 10AN adapter. And we're going to screw that into this side and then tighten it up. And you can see I got it back oriented this direction in the vise. This way seems to hold better. Got our cushion cardboard there so we don't scratch the housing. And this is a 1-inch wrench. I'm just going to go ahead and snug that guy up. Okay, we'll get it nice and tight.